We can know with absolute certainty that Paul was an apostle of Satan, that he was a child of the devil, because he taught his followers that they could eat food safely that had been sacrificed to idols. Now, just the very fact that the apostles who actually walked with the Messiah taught against this, this should be a huge red flag. The apostles who actually walked with and who drank the living waters that flowed from the mouth of the living God instructed the church in Antioch that new believers, and in fact all believers, must refrain from eating food that had been sacrificed to idols. They really stressed this because it was one of only a very few, just a handful of demands that they made of the church in Antioch. We also find in the book of Revelation that there are 2 churches that Christ condemns for eating food sacrificed to idols. Why then would anyone believe that Paul could be a true apostle if he refuted and taught against this? Well, the problem lies in the fact that the majority of Christians only ever read the Bible, believing that it contains everything you need to know about salvation and about end-time prophecy, about the character of God and what he demands of believers. But if you were to step outside of the Bible, you would understand why God himself condemns eating food sacrificed to idols, why there is a very serious problem with it, and why the apostles who actually walked with Christ were able to fully understand the importance of this. You see, we find in Clementine's homilies that Peter tells us, when you sit down and you eat food that has been sacrificed to idols, you are actually sitting down and feasting with demons. It doesn't matter, as Paul says, that the idols aren't real. It doesn't matter that these idols aren't truly gods. That's not what's at stake here. That's not the reason for refraining from eating food that's been sacrificed to idols. No, it's because you are sitting down and feasting with demons and evil spirits. And so because Paul taught that it was okay to do this, that there would be no serious consequence for doing it, we can know then that he routinely did this because he spent so much time among pagans and Gentiles. And by doing this, Paul routinely sat down and feasted with demons. This is why he tells us that it was like he had a thorn in his side, why he did the things he did not want to do, and why he did not do the things that he wanted to do. And it's why we find in one of his last epistles that everyone had deserted him. It is also why the apostles who walked with Christ had no problem delivering their gospel and having it believed and accepted by the Jews. Paul's gospel, and he even calls it his gospel, was rejected by the Jews because they understood Paul was preaching falsehoods. Can you imagine Paul telling Jews who understood the law and understood why we weren't supposed to eat food sacrificed to idols? Can you imagine Paul trying to tell Jews that they could? This is why Paul was rejected by the Jews, and it's why he decided then to go to the Gentiles. It's why he was rejected in the later part of his ministry by everyone, why everyone deserted him. Without question, Paul was possessed and oppressed by evil spirits and demons, and it's because he gave them legal entry into his evil, wicked heart. So when he tells you that he was taught and instructed by the Messiah himself, that he actually saw him just like the other apostles did, well, we can know he was lying. We can know that when he was in the desert, it was not Christ that he spent time with, but rather a deceptive, evil spirit or demon, or perhaps even Satan himself. This is where Paul was getting his revelations from. All right. As always, I look forward to comments and messages. Till next time, peace and blessings.